And with that doom chime, we enter into a very fun special episode of Broken Phone. We've got Chaz, Alex, Brandon, Dan, Haley, Juliet, Mal, Thomas, and myself. And I'm going to let Chaz explain exactly what we're doing.
Right, so we're going to have a robot help us finish these books. So we did 6 books. The humans started all of the books, and they did 3 pages. And then the robot took over and finished the book. So we'll see how this went with Alex as our first book.
Jethro woke up screaming again. A man, a plan, a canal, Panama! He spat the words violently as he tumbled to the floor. Rick stirred awake, sighing. Rick reached over to the small bedside lamp, turning it on. The warm-toned light gently outlined the concern in his brow. Dreaming about palindromes again? He asked quietly. Jethro nodded, beginning to catch his breath. I'll make you some coffee, okay? Soon, Rick was back with coffee. He handed the mug to Jethro, who let the heat from the mug warm his hands. Jethro inhaled the aroma. Ah, that's much better. He looked at the mug. Taco Cat. Jethro was still dreaming. Not another palindrome. Jethro shook his head and tried to focus on the present. Rick was looking at him expectantly, his arms crossed over his chest. So, Jethro, Rick said, you were saying something about a secret underground society of penguin assassins?
Oh,
okay.
What a sharp turn.
What? That's not a palindrome.
Assassin?
Jethro
No.
blinked. He had no idea what Rick was talking about. What now? Jethro asked, confused. Rick rolled his eyes. Come on, Jethro. You were rambling on about it just a minute ago. You said something about a group of penguins who have been trained in the art of stealth and assassination, and that they've been controlled by some kind of shadowy organization. Jethro's mind raced. Had he really said all that out loud? He must have been more tired than he thought. As it turned out, the Underground Society of Penguin Assassins was just a figment of Jethro's imagination. He laughed at himself for getting carried away with his strange dream and promised to get some more rest. Jethro and Rick spent the rest of the day relaxing and enjoying each other's company, grateful to be safe and sound in the present. Rick even suggested that they watch a movie about a group of penguins who start a detective agency. Jethro chuckled and replied, I think I've had enough penguin-related adventures for one day. How about we just stick to regular old cat movies?
That is the most insane thing I've ever read.
Oh, we brought the cat back.
What is
Let's
a
keep that
regular
in the
old
bag.
cat movie?
Oh, you know.
Garfield.
A talking cat?
A talking cat?
A talking cat?
I think
I asked-
they got trapped in a dream.
Yeah.
I asked the robot specifically to add a joke to the end, and that's what it came up with.
That's very good. Like, I don't think...
So, yeah.
Personally, I don't think the robot knows that that's as funny as it is.
Yeah, so that's basically how this works. So again, every book is going to be 3 pages of humans, and then the rest will be the robot. And the robot goes however long the robot wants to go. And on that note, Stephen,
Oh
it's
my
time for
God.
your book of 20 pages.
Oh.
God, sure. So
no.
the prompt that I wrote was Colonel Sanders and Reggie Fils-Aimé sat on the edge of the pier with their feet dangling in the water. They were plotting something big. Reggie Fils-Aimé looked around to see no one listening. Colonel Sanders, our plan is going to destroy society as we know it. Also, my toes are cold. Well, Reggie Fils-Aimé, you shouldn't have dipped your feet in our finger-licking good bucket of mashed potatoes, Colonel Sanders said in a dickish way. People will play your games and eat our chicken until the heat death of the universe. Reggie Fils-Aimé was taken aback by the Colonel's comment. What are you talking about, Sanders? I was just trying to cool off my feet after a long day at work. And besides, Nintendo's got nothing to do with your fried chicken joint. The Colonel chuckled sinisterly and stroked his white goatee. Oh, but that's where you're wrong, my dear Reggie. You see, I've been secretly infiltrating your company for years, using my delicious chicken as a means of brainwashing the masses. And now, with my top-secret KFC Nintendo hybrid console, the KFC box, I'll be able to control the minds of every gamer on the planet. Reggie's eyes widened in shock. That's madness. How could you do such a thing?" The colonel shrugged nonchalantly. "Simple. I just added a secret ingredient to my mashed potatoes, a special chemical that alters the brain waves of anyone who eats it. And once they're under my control, they'll do anything I command. Even play my terrible video game adaptations of my restaurants." Reggie couldn't believe what he was hearing. This was a disaster. He had to stop the colonel's plan before it was too late. He quickly reached into his pocket and pulled out his trusty Nintendo Switch. It was his only hope. With a determined look in his eye, Reggie charged at the colonel, ready to take him down with the power of Mario and Zelda. But little did he know, the colonel had a few tricks up his sleeve. As the two engaged in an epic battle, the floor beneath them began to shake. Suddenly, a giant robotic chicken burst through the wall, sending rubble flying everywhere. "Ha! Meet my ultimate weapon, the Cluckotron 3000, the colonel cackled maniacally. Reggie's heart sank. He knew he couldn't defeat the Cluckotron on his own. He needed help. Just then, a group of unlikely heroes burst into the room. It was the teapot, the toaster, and the blender, a trio of sentient kitchen appliances on a mission to save the world from the clutches of the colonel's evil plan.
It's my favorite Nintendo characters.
Together, the group fought against the colonel and his robotic chicken, using their unique powers and skills to take them down. The teapot used its boiling water attack. The toaster shot out a barrage of toast, and the blender unleashed a spinning blade of pure destruction. After a long and grueling battle, the colonel was finally defeated. The KFC box lay shattered at his feet, and the mashed potatoes were no longer a threat. Reggie and the kitchen appliances let out a sigh of relief, knowing that they had saved the world from the colonel's devious plot. But just
Great
as they
sentence.
were about to celebrate their victory, a portal opened up in the floor, sucking them all into an alternate dimension.
Right, good.
Oh.
Penultimate page.
As they tumbled through the vortex, Reggie couldn't help but wonder what adventures awaited them in this new, strange world. But that, my friends, is a story for another time. The end.
AI closed the fridge
Wow.
by opening a portal.
There's a lot of good in this. KFC box is great. Cluckotron is great.
Really
Why on
Teapot.
earth was there a trio of
Boiling
sentient
water
kitchen
attack.
appliances?
Well, you know.
Brave
Seems
little
like a
toaster on
Pokemon
it.
reference or something. Like,
Teapot, use boiling water attack.
yeah.
Yeah, you thought it was going to be Nintendo characters boosting
Yes.
into the room instead of teapot, toaster, and blender. But
I mean, I'm
Well,
glad that
For
it
starters,
was
yeah.
expect the unexpected, I suppose.
I was on the edge of my seat.
so obviously the robot isn't constrained like we are. It knows everything it wrote, so it remembers
Yes.
everything that it wrote throughout.
It does
Um,
keep things very coherent.
Yeah, even though it's
Well,
20,
you know.
even though it's 20 pages,
Relatively.
17 of them are one page, basically.
Yes.
Yeah,
So thank you for reading all that, Stephen. I'm sorry the robot did that to you.
it's fine. The robot knows best.
Haley, what did you start writing?
They told me you can't just duct tape a knife to your Roomba and call it a battle bot, but I didn't listen. I wouldn't play by their rules.
I love this.
I taped 2 knives to my Doom Roomba, or Doomba. My opponent had 3-inch steel plates and chainsaws. Pshaw, this guy doesn't stand a chance against the Doomba. Crash! Double-bladed Doomba collided headfirst into Ronnie's chainsaws, which ripped straight through the duct tape of fixing knives. Shit! This guy is good, but I still had one more trick up my sleeve. I reached into my pocket and pulled out a small, unassuming device. It looked like a cross between a calculator and a flip phone, but its capabilities were far more sinister. I pressed the button labeled ejector seat, and suddenly Ronnie was launched high into the air. He let out a blood-curdling scream as he soared above the city skyline, eventually disappearing into the clouds.
Pretty sure that's
Wow.
against the rules of BattleBot.
So was the Roomba.
Yeah, this got a little.
Is
More
Ronnie the
bloody.
bot or the operator?
They're Gundam.
Operator.
They're
I meant for him to
Gundams.
be the operator, but well,
Well, the robot didn't have the context of the first two paragraphs. It only had the
Right, right.
context of Ronnie, so it didn't know this was BattleBots.
I chuckled to myself, knowing that he would probably be stuck up there for a while. But my victory was short-lived. Just as I was about to bask in the glow of my victory, I heard a loud explosion behind me. I turned just in time to see my beloved Doomba go up in flames. I gasped in horror as I watched my only means of transportation go up in
Oh.
smoke.
wow.
But then, out of the ashes emerged a figure. It was a tall, lanky man with a bushy mustache and a maniacal grin on his face. I am the great and powerful Mustache Man, he declared, his voice echoing through the deserted streets. And you, my dear Ronnie, have just met your match. Who's
Okay.
Ronnie?
I thought Ronnie was in space.
Oh, you
Yeah,
know.
Ronnie's gone.
Ronnie's
are
met
This
is
other
not-
people.
Hey,
Ronnie
the
was
robot is
launched.
just fitting in for normally when we do Broken Phone.
Yeah,
the
yeah, no,
characters
listen-
end up a bit mixed up. So
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is turning into more classic Broken Phone. I gulped, knowing that I was no match for the great and powerful Mustache Man, but I wasn't about to go down without a fight. I reached for my trusty taser, ready to take on this new challenger. Just as I was about to strike, however, a strange portal opened up behind the Mustache Man. A group of brightly colored creatures with tentacles for limbs and wings for ears emerged from the portal, and they immediately set upon the Mustache Man. He
Right.
keeps opening
Of course.
portals.
Is the
Yeah,
ball
what's
form
portal?
of the toaster and the blender?
Yeah.
Is it going to get meta? Is the AI connecting the two stories?
I don't know. As the two sides battled it out, I took the opportunity to make my escape. I ran as fast as my legs would carry me, not looking back until I was sure I was safe. And that, dear reader, is the story of how I narrowly escaped the clutches of the great and powerful Mustache Man and his tentacled minions. The end.
Goodness.
Ooh.
Okay.
This
the
was
story
a
of how I
lot.
did it. I ran away.
This
I
was a
didn't
lot
know
less
that Doom was a
coherent.
phoenix.
Mustache Man is the one true Phoenix.
That was a good twist.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah, a lot of characters got brought in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Poor Ronnie.
Poor Ronnie. Or maybe you were Ronnie. It's
We're
hard to say.
Ronnie. Who knows?
Well,
Brandon.
poor Ronnie, poor Ronnie.
We were Ronnie the whole time.
Alrighty.
Brandon, it's your book.
All right, here we go. Lumber lad Larry tosses his axe down. He breathes a sigh of relief until he remembers he didn't tie down that last tree. Timber.
Oh my God,
eh,
his name is Larry.
Yeah.
Sorry, you'll see.
Okay.
Oh no.
Crash! It was a lumberjack's worst nightmare. The tree fell on his hot neighbor's house. Okay. He ran to the house screaming her name, Hot Brenda. Hot Brenda stumbled out of her crushed home. Your tree destroyed my house, she said. But once she locked eyes with the lumberjack, his name was Barry, she forgot all about her house. Lumberjack Barry and Hot Brenda instantly fell in love.
This-
Thanks
it
a
was
lot.
just
a typo
Origin
at-
story.
The fact that the initial name was Larry is even better. You could not have planned this. This is great.
No, it's amazing.
This
I
is,
love this
this is
story.
amazing. I'll rebuild your house, Hot Brenda, Barry said, his deep voice sending shivers down her spine. But their love was not meant to be.
God, is this going to turn into an AI-written Harlequin romance?
Just as they were about to embrace, a group of space pirates descended from the sky, led by the notorious Captain Fuzzball. Hand over your valuables or face the wrath of my laser sword, Captain Fuzzball hissed, brandishing the glowing weapon.
I'm assuming Captain Fuzzball is literally just a house cat.
Sure. Hot Brenda and Barry stood their ground, determined to defend their love and their earthly possessions. They fought valiantly against the space pirates, using their lumberjacking skills and hotness to their advantage.
I died when I saw that line.
Top notch skill.
Oh my god.
Just when it seemed like they might emerge victorious, a giant kraken emerged from the depths of the ocean.
What?
Wow, we're in the
Oh.
ocean.
The ocean now.
The ocean
Tentacles.
surrounded by forest. Its tentacles thrashing wildly. Without hesitation, Hot Brenda pulled out a secret weapon, a tiny yet powerful atomic bomb.
Oh,
That bird is packing.
Yep. She armed the bomb and threw it at the Kraken, narrowly avoiding its tentacles. The bomb exploded, causing a massive mushroom cloud to rise up from the ocean. As the dust settled, Hot Brenda and Barry surveyed the aftermath that they somehow survived. The
Oh.
Kraken lay defeated, and the space pirates had fled. They were safe, and their love had triumphed over all obstacles.
But wait, I thought it wasn't meant to be.
Forget about it. They embraced, grateful to be alive and together. And as they walked hand in hand into the sunset, they knew that they would face any danger and overcome any obstacle as long as they were together. The end.
I love it.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Huh, as long as they also had a small atomic bomb.
They died 3 years later from radiation poisoning.
Oh,
And
wow.
3 days later.
Oh, Hot Brenda and Barry. Great story. All right. Mal's story. The first version I got from the robot was going to be even longer than Steven's.
Oh,
It was
God.
going to be like 25 pages. So I told it to tell the story again, but change it halfway to make it shorter. And I bet you'll be able to tell where it changed the story.
Jane was feeling very sad. She had no one to play jump rope with. She sighed and softly said, "I wish I had a friend." Just then, her jump rope began to turn into a long red snake. It spoke to her in a thick but distinctive accent. So ye want to be jumping the ropes, do ye? Jane was afraid.
I would be too.
Be not afraid, Jane, the jump rope snake declared. I am ye guide to the ancient art of rope jumping. Its scales glittered like rubies as it began to swing. Jane, one rope is just the beginning. The snake split in two.
Oh.
Oh.
But I'm not sure I can do this, Jane protested.
This is amazing.
Brows furrowed in doubt. Nonsense, lassie. The snake chided. With enough practice, anyone can master the art of rope jumping.
He got it. It got it.
Yeah,
Got it.
it got it, Haley. Oh my
The
god.
snake's words filled Jane with a sense of determination. She had always been the awkward one, tripping over her own feet and struggling to keep up with
Wow.
her peers. But maybe, just maybe, she could get good at something.
Jeez.
She grabbed hold of the ropes and tentatively began to jump, trying to follow the snake's rhythm. At first, she stumbled and faltered, but as she got the hang of it, she began to feel more confident. "That's it, Jane," the snake cheered. "You've got it." As they continued to jump, the snake began to spin faster and faster,
Whoa.
creating a whirlwind of color and motion. Jane laughed in delight, feeling alive and free as she soared through the air.
Man.
As they reached the peak of their jump, the snake suddenly stopped, causing Jane to lose her balance and stumble to the ground. "Ugh," she exclaimed, rubbing her sore elbow. "What was that for?" The snake looked at her gravely, its eyes glowing in the
Whoa.
darkness. "I'm sorry, Jane, but we must leave this place. Danger lurks in the shadows."
Okay.
Holy shit.
Another portal.
End all stories.
Without another word, the snake transformed into a glowing portal, beckoning Jane to follow. With a deep breath, Jane stepped through the portal and found herself transported to a strange and wondrous land. But as she was about to explore further, she suddenly remembered she had left the stove on at home.
Oops.
She quickly turned around and raced back through the portal, determined to prevent any potential disasters. As she emerged back into her kitchen, she let out a sigh of relief at the sight of the stove, still safely off. She made a mental note to always double check before embarking on any more adventures.
Wow.
The
Man,
end.
the robot
Wow.
loves portals.
I
Yeah.
love the ending. It turned this whole story into a moral about how you should always check the stove before you leave the house.
That was Aesop's
Yeah.
famous.
Even though Jane didn't even leave the stove on, she was overthinking it.
But you
The
have to
final
check.
hours of
You
the
gotta
story.
check. Why
You
would
got to check. You
Jane
have to
has
check
to-
4 times.
Gotta check, Lassie.
You don't even use the stove.
I do.
Yeah.
I could have.
That
I
was
really
a
like
beautiful
how
display.
the story was like, we need to go to this other place, and she goes, and she's like, wait, no, the stove.
Wait, never mind. End the
Yeah.
story.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, that would be the point where I told it to change the story and make it shorter.
Yeah.
I like
Anyway,
it.
There
that
was-
great.
It was a lot longer in this mysterious land and tickets to a golden ticket to a dance competition. And it was
Oh my god.
we needed to cut it off.
Wow.
Our final book was by Juliet.
I curled up by the fire, book in one hand and mug of hot chocolate in the other. I was ready for some relaxation after a tough week. I was so tired that I had a hard time focusing on my book and kept drifting off. I took a big swig of hot chocolate and it had a strange taste. Then I was really feeling woozy. My book fell to the side, knocking over my hot chocolate, and I was out like a light. I had the strangest dream. I dreamt
That's
Oh.
great.
that I was a giant ant living,
my God.
living in a bustling anthill. My name was Antoine.
Yes, it was.
Wow.
my
And I was the queen of the colony. I had long, delicate antennae and a shiny black exoskeleton. The colony was under attack by a group of marauding beetles, led by a vicious beetle queen named Beatrice. Beetletrice? I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
I like her.
She had a shiny hard shell and razor-sharp mandibles. I mobilized my army of worker ants and we fought bravely against the beetles. It was a fierce battle, but eventually we were able to drive them back. As I was celebrating our victory, I suddenly felt a sharp pain in my abdomen. I looked down to see a beetle soldier had snuck up behind me and stabbed me with spear-like forelegs.
Oh.
As I lay there dying, I had a sudden realization. This wasn't just a dream, it was a prophecy. The beetles represented my own internal struggles and insecurities, and the spear-wielding soldier was a metaphor for the self-destructive thoughts
Wow.
that had
Jesus
been plaguing
Christ.
me.
Wow.
I woke with a start, sweating and panting. I looked around to see that I was still in my cozy living room, surrounded by my books and other familiar objects. It had all just been a dream, but the message of the dream stayed with me. I resolved to work on my inner conflicts and to stop letting them hold me back. And as for Antoinette the Ant Queen and Beatrice the Beetle Queen, they would live on forever in my memory as powerful symbols of the ongoing battle within us all.
Wow.
Oh my god!
The end.
Man, Robot Wild.
Robot
That was
wants
better
to
than anything
inspire
I've
us.
ever written.
Robot Wild. I think 13 out of 12 would have been like, one day in my dreams, I took a portal to return to the Ant Queen.
I mean, I can tell it to continue the story.
And it would just, there would be portals.
A portal.
You can
would-
alter it to
portal.
say, please do not include portals in this story.
There must be
Wow.
a portal.
Then
That
it
was
just
is
have place in
crazy.
a wormhole.
A story that
I told
takes
it to
place in a
continue this-
universe without portals.
I told it to continue the story, and there's a knock at the door, and someone introduces themselves as Captain Jack Sparrow. Never mind.
Oh,
Wow.
We should just end here.
Yeah. It's lost it. It lost the inspiration it
Oh
had.
my God.
yeah,
Okay.
it was good.
So one of the features we used to do this, you notice I've been the same person got the book many times in a row. I made a new feature available for beta testers right now, beta testers on my Patreon, where the players can control where the book goes and how long the books go. You notice we also had the books were different page lengths. So when you use this new feature, anytime you get a page, you can decide whether to send it to someone else, to send it back to yourself, or to end the book there. And it works in all modes. It works if you're doing normal picture phone mode. It still works like that. So if you're in our group of beta testers, please try it out and let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This
do
was-
that.
This was fun. And I like, certainly we will not be using robots to do all future episodes of Broken Phone, but as a special thing, it's fun to see what the robots could come up with. And sometimes they came up with stuff that is just as wild as we do. And I think for them, for the robots, their portal is our version of the bazaar.
Sorry,
Yeah.
was ahead.
The portal was behind.
The portal was
Behind
behind.
Mm.
Cool. Well, we will be back with more Broken Phone in the future, and we will see you then.